We're going to start day 3 here. The first thing I'd like to start off with this morning is have you guys ask me a couple of questions that you'd like to go back over or review before we jump into the new material. So is there anything in your notes or stuff you want to talk about? Yes, Carl?
You're going to review the Rule of Fours again.
Oh, absolutely, but we're going to do it with a live screen. Yeah. Anything else?
On what screen did you determine that a stock moves an average of $1 a day?
Okay, I haven't shown that to you. We're going to find the average true trading range or average daily trading range on a financial website like Smart Money or like CNBC.com or something like that. And again, we've only touched on a few of these things. Everything we've talked about, we go into in more and more depth as we go along in the course. I'm sorry, Al, what was your question?
That's on a particular stock.
On a particular stock. Now, on the platform, we also have the ability to kind of fudge it in there because we do have a study that is called ATR, or Average True Range. And we could go back and put up like 6 months on a daily chart and look at what the average trading range per day was and come up with a very, very close estimate, okay? Now, how do you really do average daily trading range? If you want to do it yourself, and you guys already know, I like you to do it yourself so you truly understand what's going on. Well, you go back at least 20 days and you look at the high and the low of your stock and you put it on like an Excel spreadsheet. And you ask the Excel spreadsheet to subtract the little number from the big number, and that gives you your range. You then add up all the ranges, 20 of them, and divide by 20. And that gives you your average for 20 days. And then each day you add a new day and you drop off the old one, and now you have a moving average. So how do we do it again? We'll find the average daily trading range, find the high and the low for the last 20 days, and you can do this right off of a chart, okay? Add up all 20-day ranges and divide by 20. Now, Mike, is 20 enough? Well, again, it depends on your trading style. If you're going to be a short-term trader, 20 days is a lot. But if you're going to hold this thing for 2 months, maybe you need to go out 90 days or 100 days, okay, to get a better average. Remember what I told you about statistical probability. The more statistical evidence you have, the better the rule will work, okay? So that's a couple of different ways to do it. We can use the platform, or we can and cheat a little bit. It's a lot faster, or we can actually do the math. Okay. Now, I think as beginning traders, you should set up a spreadsheet and do the math. Now, as you start to get used to it, one of the things that the students always are amazed by is when one of our OTA instructors stand up here and we go, now, Cisco is going to move up right now. And you go, well, how does he know that? Well, guys, that's the difference between me and you. I've been doing this for 27 years, okay? I know all the numbers in my head. I know where the support lines and the resistance lines are. I have them memorized because I work with them every day. To you, it's almost a mystery. We're seeing a declining market here. And just before class officially started, I was talking to a couple of you, and I said, well, the S&P, the SPX, the S&P 500 is going to come down to probably around 1,074 points. It's trading at 1,100. Where did I get that 1,074? Well, somewhere along the line, that was a resistance line, and then it broke through it, so it's going to be a support line now. And I know that, already? And I work with these numbers every day. You will start to understand your stock and your price levels. It's very, very important you understand index price levels and your particular stock's price levels. What is important to Cisco? Well, right now, support is at $22, major support. There's some interest supports at like maybe $22.37 and $22.54. How do I know that? Well, I trade Cisco on a daily basis. So I know where I am. I don't have to draw the lines. Right now, you guys have to draw the lines. You have to go to a chart, you have to see where the support line is or where the resistance line is, you have to draw it, you have to pull a crosshair down on it, and you have to look at the number. But you do that every day, you start to remember those numbers, okay? So the old, what, you sling enough mud against the wall, some of it's bound to stick. Okay, any other questions? Okay, well, let's just jump into some new information familiar with, so that further takes that pool down. So maybe you want to do the Smart Select and get 20 of them, and then you look and go, well, I haven't a clue who, Zambezi Airlines are, and I know nothing about the airline industry. So throw that one out. But I know something about Yellow Freight or Consolidated or Roadway because I happen to be in the transportation business. So that one you'd be a keeper. Now we take it out and see, does it have the million average daily volume? Does it match the beta? Does it have the price? And those sort of things, okay? So it just kind of, the IBD thing is just to give you kind of a gene pool of selection. Then you have to be particular of what comes out of there, all righty? So it just finds you a big pool, and then you can narrow it down to a few stocks. Okay, here's some of the things we're going to do today. I'm going to do some live trading for you, and then later in the day, I'm going to give you guys hour and a half, couple hours of trading yourselves, and we'll work on some specific projects. We're going to talk about order execution first thing this morning. We're going to do some give you your first lecture on shorting, so you guys clearly understand it and understand the rules. And we'll talk about trading remotely because we break the 7-day class into a 3- and 4-day section. Some of you guys will be going home. You won't be staying here for the entire week. So I want to make sure that when you go home, you know how to set up your trading station and your trading office, okay? And we're going to talk about broker selection and stuff. And then some of you will actually, in between, when you take this break, we'll try to do some live trading. So I want to talk to you about preparing for live trading because you don't have all the information. This is a 7-day class, okay? And of course, the last thing of the day is always with OTA will be a heavy dose of risk management. And we'll get into the 10 laws of day trading. All righty? Now, we looked at a couple of different things on the platform. We talked primarily about DART and the smart order routing technology that each platform has. We need to be able to get back in here and start to look at some of the specific features of routing. And so let's just jump into that and talk a little bit about executions. So the instructor will demonstrate a variety of live trades. So why don't we go do that? And instead of looking at the slide here, we're going to pull up the real platform, and I'm going to talk you through a couple of different trades as I see them. Now, once again, guys, please, we're going to have to short-term trade because you won't be here next week. So I can't put on a swing trade for you, but I'm not trying to force you into momentum trading either, okay? But we're going to have to do some momentum trading for me to explain the different routes. Alrighty, gang, let's go out to the platform, and here's exactly what we were looking at the other day. Same setup, okay? Let's move this down just a little bit. And let me go quickly again about some of the features here so you understand where I'm going. On the left-hand side, left up corner, we have the stock chart. It is linked to the level 2 box here in the top center and is linked to the board view. So if I click on any one of these on the board view, it updates the level 2 box and updates the chart. Everybody with me there? Good. You ready? So here we go. If we went to look at Cisco, we can see what Cisco's been doing, pretty much going flat today. We'll go out and find something a little bit more exciting, but let's talk a little bit about this first, okay? We also have in the bottom left-hand corner our different indexes. Right now we've got the S&P E-minis up, okay, so that we can see what the overall sentiment of the 500 best stocks in the United States are doing. And as you can see, we gapped up, had a little bit of a fill, and pretty much we're going up today, maybe sideways right now, but we're a little bit in the doldrums still. Okay, so as we approach a little bit later, we'll get into some live trading, maybe we'll get some good action here. Again, this chart is linked to this board view in the upper right-hand corner. I just highlighted it. So if I wanted to look at the Dow Jones, I could just click on the DJI, and we see it has a similar shape as the S&Ps did. We can look at our trend, and we can see that it's been moving below the dollar, or the $1. It's not a dollar, guys. The 1 unit, okay, the 1 line, okay, most of the day. You ready? We can look at the NASDAQ composite and see that it has gapped up a little bit of fill. Looks like it's a little stronger than the Dow is today. You ready? So again, we're linked from this upper right-hand board view to this lower left chart. Let's go back to our S&Ps. Okay. Those are the links, etc. We want to try to focus on our S&Ps, as I said earlier, because these give us a really good sentiment factor of what the overall market is thinking. And we can look up here and you can see that Cisco isn't all that highly correlated today. You can see right here at 12 noon where the S&Ps go up. Well, Cisco has a little bit of a pop up, but it's not very strong today. Now, when the S&Ps went down here earlier, can everybody see that at the same time, Cisco went down about the same amount? Alrighty? So, if anything, we would say that Cisco is a little fragile today. I wouldn't say it's really weak. It hasn't tanked when the S&Ps went down, but it did go down with them. But it's not going up as strongly when the S&Ps go up. Okay? Let's just take a look at somebody else. How about Microsoft? Now you can see Microsoft is very weak today compared to the S&Ps. When the S&Ps did a little bit of a sell-off, Microsoft came down very strongly. When the S&Ps went sideways, Microsoft went sideways. When the S&Ps rallied strongly, Microsoft had a little bit of a hump up, but as soon as the S&Ps showed any weakness, Microsoft started to fall off. So if we saw a great downturn in the S&Ps, Microsoft might not be a bad stock to go short in. Everybody got that? Okay, let's just find a stock out here. This one's a little range bound, but we can work with it. Let's make the chart nice and big here, and I want to draw a couple lines on here for you. First off, can everybody see that yesterday's high right in this neck of the woods here probably would have been a pretty good line? And sure enough, look how today, when it opened, it came and sat right on what was resistance yesterday, became support today, later became support, a little bit of resistance. So we're going to assume this 2883 is going to be a support line now relative to current price. Okay? What about where current price is right now? Huh? Right here on the 29 line, round number, is that a support or resistance line? You bet. So if we put that in there, and let's see if I can move that number. Can I move that number? Or there you go. So now you can see I'm right on the 29 line, and look how it's fudging during the doldrums here. 2901, 2902, probably back down to 29. Okay. Certainly we would want to pick the high of the day as a resistance line, huh? So I say resistance as a line. It's currently resistance because it's above price. The low of the day, that's going to be another one, isn't it? Yeah, sure. Okay, so let's put that one in there. Now, I'm just throwing in some lines that are fairly obvious. By the way, notice how this low of the day was the first line of support yesterday. Okay? Isn't that interesting? Okay? What else do we see? Do we see anything else in here? How about this little high right in here? What if I were to pop that in? What do you think we might end up with there? How about that? That little high there, which was resistance, became support at the end of the day. Of course, it's going to be resistance today, but we're a long way away from this line. Now, I could throw in a whole bunch of other lines, guys. I mean, obviously, this 2820 right in this neck of the woods here looks real good. But now, will this stock actually move, almost $1 to get down here today? Probably not. So it probably isn't all that relevant to us. Certainly the lows yesterday are going to be important lines, so I could throw those in. But now I'm pretty much doing? I'm cluttering my screen, that's all. Let's just take a quick look back. These are just based on today and yesterday. What if we were to go back one more day or two? Let's do that. Let's just go back one more and see if there's any. I need a couple more lines higher. Well, that wasn't far enough. Can you see that this 29.19 that we marked today, our high today basically, was 2 days ago, was its high? Let's go back another day. Okay, so now we have some more lines. It's even more interesting. It was not only that high, but you see how it picked up this peak and this low over here on the 26th. So now I could pop in some more lines, okay? Certainly this low right here after the get-go, we could pop that in there. And let's just, for last, we'll pick up this one, which looks to be the same as that next little high. And sure enough, it's close enough for my money, huh? What do you guys think about that? Is that pretty cool? Yeah. So now we have at least 3 resistance lines above us and certainly more than 3 support lines below us. Let's go back and focus back in. Now, I haven't drawn any trend lines or anything like that. I just wanted to show you guys just doing a couple of simple things with just simple support and resistance. You ready? Now, we could take a look at some of the other ways this chart could be viewed. Again, I'm kind of just showing this thing off here a little bit. We're on candlestick. Could we put it onto a line on close? Okay. Now you can see how sharp and close our lines are right to the exact turning points of price. Now, every one of these little corners is the end of 1 minute on the close. So we can see every little jig in this price and how it's bouncing above 29. Everybody with me so far? We could also put it on bar charts, but on this particular platform, the bars are at 1 minute are pretty hard to look at. So we either have to go back in and massage them through their color and their font. And yeah, I can do all that, by the way. I can make this a black background with white bars or keep the candles on, whatever. But guys, I like candles. So let's go back to our candles and see what we can see here. So, yes?
Eventually, will you have, like when you turn your computer on, will you say you like this format, and one of your stocks is Cisco, this will always come up for you, and this is pretty much what you're going to study and learn and become a master of, right?
Right, absolutely.
You're not going to be bouncing all these charts all the time.
No, you're going to have your favorite setup, okay, that you're going to stick with. Now, it may not be exactly like this, but most of you guys will probably start with what you see here because that's what you know. You know, after a week of trading this, you're going to be very, very familiar with this platform, okay? But the answer, as I said yesterday, we can have different platforms, layouts, okay? And if I go up here and, for instance, when we teach high-speed momentum trading, okay, we use this Train 2 layout. And all I do is click on it, and then it looks dramatically different, okay? But it's still, what is it? 2 charts, a level 2, an index, and our money.
You always have a level 2 there.
Well, certainly for momentum trading you would, but what if you were a swing or a position trader? You may not use level 2. And there's a lot of, like I say, there's a lot of things about this platform I haven't shown you that you'd all go ooh, ah at, alrighty? For instance, Al, you may wish to be a swing trader. Well, can I change this into what they call a floating window? Okay, I click on that and the window floats. Now I can close the platform and I'll close everything here. And here's my chart. Now I can go out and do email and keep an eye on my stock. But Mike, what happens if it all of a sudden really started to go down or started to go up? Well, we can go down here and put on our order entry and trade right off the chart. Okay, so now I don't have to have everything up. I can go look at email and stuff like that, and I still have my platform up here. And if I wanted to buy in, all I have to hit the buy and put a price in there or use market.
This is just all about learning that format.
Yeah, exactly. And this, I'm not going to take a lot of time on this because you need to do this for a week or two every day. Play with your platform. Okay. So I'm going to turn off the order entry form. I'm going to turn off the floating window. And now, if I pull back up my platform, it's right where we left it.
You can play with the platform without buying or selling, just, going through. the
Sure,
motions, right?
absolutely. And you want to do that. It's what we call demo, huh? And now I'm going to talk to you a lot about that this afternoon when we get into how to set up your trading office and preparing to trade live, because there's some limitations to demo. Demo will teach you about the platform, but it will not teach you how to trade because you don't have real money on it, and you always get filled. Okay, and you may not always get filled here. Okay, so that's
Still teaching the routine though.
sure, and eye-hand coordination and knowing where that mouse goes. Now you guys will find out this afternoon or this morning when we go live. Okay, I'm going to go. Okay, I want you to buy your stock, and your mouse is going to be doing this. Where's that buy button? Where's that buy button? It's around here somewhere. Okay, just because you're not used to it, my hand automatically goes right to it. You know, I know where it is. So again, it would be unreasonable for me to expect that. Now I'm going to find a stock that is moving a little bit more than Cisco. If we look up here, we can see Cisco is only around 26 cents range today from high to low. And it's pretty much doing what? Going sideways in here. Okay, so now that we have some lines drawn, let's talk about doing some technical trading. And I think we're in a pretty good shot here, even though it's a little slow. Now you can see what happens when I make this back small. We have to look in here closely. So we know that our general rule is that we can buy above support. And right now we're trading on the level 2, 2907 by 2908. Okay, so we're above the 29. So I could go in here and make a buy. What is our high for the day? Well, that's our line up here at 29.19. Actually, it's 29.20 if you look at the platform right here where it says high. Okay, so we know that right now we have about 12, it's coming back a little bit, about 12, 15 cents worth of profitability if we want to go long. Now, if we're going to go long, we have to have a reason to go long. Are our S&Ps going up right now? Well, let's pause a moment and look at this. It's 02 1/4 buy, 02 even at the figure. Okay, so we want to see this thing go figure to the quarter up and maybe from the quarter to the half before we'd make our buy. Okay, we want to have a reason. Now, our plan is that we're above support at $29. Our goal would be $29.19. What would our stop loss be here? Anybody? Julio, what do you think our stop loss should be? Okay, the 29 line, but how about just a few pennies below it? Okay, let's make the chart big again and have a quick look because this thing is not going anywhere. We're still on our futures at the figure, up by the quarter, it isn't moving. Let's blow our chart up here and talk about our stop. Now, we know that we have about 15 cents, so what could our stop be? Well, 1/3. Well, if we get in at 29.05, okay, well then 1/3 would be would be 5 cents, and that'd put us right on the 29 line. Okay. Oh, by the way, it just came back down to 29. Let's see if it holds support here. So we want to clearly see it's moving up, and there, look, see it goes right. It holds. Okay. Oh. Let's see if it holds here, okay, and you can see it's dropping through. So now we got to rethink our plan. What's happening with the market? Why is it going down? Anyhow, as I was going to say, perhaps our stop loss would have been this low right in here. And if you look way at the very top of the board, and where's my laser pointer? My laser pointer got away from me again, gang. Hang on a second. If you look up here at the top of the chart, wherever I put my cursor, we have the low. You see the low there is 28.96. So I would have figured that to be my 28.96 right there. And that would have been my stop loss if we had have gone long. But as we can see, it's already broken down below that. It's 28.95. So now what are we thinking? Well, sure, we could go short. Ready? What would our goal be? Well, how about this next line down here at 28.83? Okay. Again, now this isn't a big play, people. I'd really like to play this all the way down to the low of the day, 28.59. But I don't think we're going to get that kind of help. After all, is the market pretty much up today? Yeah. And probably what we're really doing is just channeling in here. But keep the good thought. Let's go back and look at the market and see what's happened.